Hey, what up everybody, this is Stevie Breach coming to you. The other night I was able to watch Royal Rumble 1991 on the WWE Network. Honestly, this is like a big time memory for me because I think everybody knows when I talk about wrestling from the past, when I do reviews of stuff from 1990 in 1991, these are the glory years of wrestling for me. Of course, I love the Monday Night War series, that went on through 95 and 96. I love the Attitude Era, but I don't think anything will ever be as great as, Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Randy Savage. Those guys, to me, were the real deal in wrestling, and this show is sort of a time capsule of everything that was going on at that point. I think of my top favorite pay-per-views of all time. It's the Royal Rumble 1990, Survivor Series 1991. You got SummerSlam 1991, Survivor Series 1990, all of those, and this one really fits into everything that's really going on at this point. I was watching these Rumbles. I was trying to make it through 3 Rumbles and 3 straight nights. Last night I ended my streak. That review will be coming soon. That was the Royal Rumble 1993. I was watching the Razor Ramon Brett match, and I just wasn't feeling it, and I knew the match was a lot better than what it was. So I said, you know what, I'm going to turn off wrestling tonight, and I'll come back to it tomorrow or the next night, and I bet I'll be able to get more into this match. The one bad thing about Royal Rumbles is that the undercard is really, really bad, because I don't know when they started using guys twice in the same night, but normally if you have a match earlier on in the night, you're not used into the Royal Rumble match. So they put matches in the undercard that really have no meaning in the world at all. Some of them end up pretty good, and some of them end up just like you're just counting down the times until it gets there. And on this card, it has this. It also is the first time you've had a WWF Championship match added to make this sort of a double main event. This would be built up as Sergeant Slaughter going up against the Ultimate Warrior. There's a big feel on this show that kicks off right from the beginning. A big heartfelt promo from Roddy Piper, sending a shout out to all the troops overseas. This was filmed during Operation Desert Storm, when the guys were over in Kuwait and Iraq, and it wasn't Afghanistan wasn't a big thing like it is now, but this was definitely when the big war was going on. George Bush was in president, and they're really feeling you up. They're really trying to get you ready for WrestleMania, which of course was all about the red, white, and blue. Sergeant Slaughter at that time had left the United States, and now he was an Iraqi sympathizer. So they were really building off that. All the guys are wearing yellow ribbons, and they're all sending shout-outs to the troops. There's a thing where the WWF camera crew went out, and they were getting reactions from they were trying to make it seem like people waiting to get into the show, but you can definitely tell that where they were shooting this wasn't at the event. You can sort of tell by the people that are going to be there. They're interviewing the security people. I don't know if they went, where was this at? This was in Miami, wasn't it? Yeah, this show was shot in Miami. What I honestly think is they went a day before or 2 days before, and they just filmed and got these reactions of people going into a Miami Heat game, because none of these people seem that they are ready to be going into a wrestling show. That's my opinion. That's the big feel of what's going on. The opening match of the night is the Rockers going up against the Orient Express. The Rockers, a great tag team. Everybody knows Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. The Orient Express, honestly, is, in my mind, a tag team that really gets not a whole lot of respect. They didn't win a lot of matches, but in my mind, Tanaka and Kato, along with Mr. Fuji, were one of the best tag teams. Whenever I see these guys come out, whether if it's on a Royal Rumble, a Survivor Series, whether if I see these guys on an old WrestleMania, I love these guys. They always wrestle great matches. They really get no respect. Like I said, they never were in the tag team title picture. They never really got a lot of wins. But this was a fun, exciting match to kick this off. The Rockers got the win. From there, they went to the Big Boss Man going up against the Barbarian. It wasn't really about the Boss Man versus the Barbarian. It was more about Boss Man trying to get his hands on Bobby Heenan. Boss Man got the win in this one. From there, we go to the big Sergeant Slaughter versus Ultimate Warrior match. Ultimate Warrior came in as the champion. Of course, he won the title at WrestleMania by beating Hulk Hogan, and Warrior was trying to take one up for the troops. He had the red, white, and blue face paint worked into the Ultimate Warrior mask. He was wearing red, white, and blue tassels. He had red, white, and blue on his tights, and he was going up against the Iraqi sympathizer Sergeant Slaughter. Before this match, the Macho Man was really trying to get to the Ultimate Warrior. He was really trying to make Ultimate Warrior grant him a title shot, and He even went to the lengths of sending the Queen, Sensational Sherry, over to the Ultimate Warrior, trying to verbally seduce him, almost to the point of giving him a kiss, and then for some reason in front of everybody, trying to give him a BJ right up there on the stage with Mean Gene. Ultimate Warrior shoots him down, and Macho Man tries to make the run-in to attack the Ultimate Warrior. You know how they normally have the stage set up right where they have the guys come out? For some reason, the Macho Man Randy Savage does his run-in like he's coming in from the opposing locker room of a TNA Impact set back in the day, where he comes from the far side of the arena. He has to run basically through the crowd, jump the barricade, and then run around the ring and then up the ramp like he's going into the dressing room. I don't know where he was coming from, but they had him in some secluded, far-off part of the arena for some reason. He finally runs up to the stage. By this time, it's just Sherry and Mean Gene. The Warrior had split, and he was a smart man. Once the match starts, basically the Warrior is able to chase off General Adnan and the other crony's name, I forgot it. One was the Iron Sheik, and one was, Colonel Mustafa. That was the other guy's name. He's able to chase both of those guys off to make it a one-on-one affair, but Warrior is attacked in the entranceway, and he has to basically crawl back to the ring before Sergeant Slaughter gets the 10 count, and the match is going on. It looks like the Warrior is getting the upper hand, and at this point, Macho Man Randy Savage comes down, and Sensational Sherry. They're surrounding the ring. There's a point in the match when basically Warrior gets cracked over the head with the scepter that the $1 Million Man gave Macho Man Randy Savage, and that's enough to give Sergeant Slaughter the victory in this one. When I was a kid, we used to have what was called Scramble Vision, before digital became the form of cable, and that's how I watched the show. Basically, you would flip on channel 99, which was the pay-per-view channel, and you couldn't see the picture, but you could hear what was going on. A lot of people that are my age will love reminiscing about Scramble Vision. I remember watching this at my mom's house, and she happened to have some friends over from work that had some kids that were my age, and there was one younger kid who didn't understand what we were doing, and every 5 minutes he was going and running and telling on what we were doing. But in my mindset as a kid, this would be 1991, so I was 10 at the time, I sort of thought that what I was doing was wrong, that I was basically stealing the signal, basically, so he would go run and tell that the television was broken, and I would, tell the kid that the TV's not broken, that this is the only way that we can watch it, and he just didn't understand, so he kept on telling us. So every time he would tell on us, we'd have to change the channel, and of course then we'd change it back to be getting this. But I remember when I heard that Sergeant Slaughter was awarded the championship, I really thought that they had made a mistake, that we had heard it wrong. I thought maybe we were watching the wrong show. I was making up any excuse in the world, because the Ultimate Warrior wasn't my favorite wrestler, but he was the champion. Sort of like, President Obama is not my favorite president of all time, but he is the United States president until the day that he's voted out of office or leaves office. He's my president, and I stand behind that guy. But I just couldn't believe that the Ultimate Warrior was not the champion anymore, and that the heel Sergeant Slaughter, with the Iraqi boots that Sergeant Slaughter had, or that, damn, who was that guy from Saudi Arabia? Whatever that guy's name was, but he'd given him the boots, and he was able to cheat and become the champion. Leaving that match, they give us a really cool down match. The Mountie versus Coco Beware comes out there. They have a match that honestly nobody cares about. I don't even know why they were having a match. And then we go to a match that has a whole lot of heat. Ted DiBiase and Virgil going up against Dusty Rhodes, and making his debut Dustin Rhodes, who would go on to become Goldust. Of course, everybody knows. This match is really, really good. They're really building on, Dusty Rhodes stepped up for his son, and he's fighting this fight against Ted DiBiase and Virgil, which was built up about, I believe it was on Saturday night's main event. Dustin Rhodes was in the front row trying to watch his dad's match. Ted DiBiase and Virgil were trying to buy up the front row so they could watch the match to scout Dusty Rhodes, and Dustin wouldn't give up a seat no matter how much money they had. They ended up having a brawl with Dustin going up against Ted DiBiase and Virgil. Dusty had to get counted out of his match. I think the match was against Savage. I'm not 100% sure. And, Dusty ends up, jumping down out of the ring and jumping on top of Dustin to make sure that DiBiase isn't able to beat up Dustin. And DiBiase is putting the boots, and Dusty's taking the kicks and everything like that. But the match is good. Basically, Virgil's in the ring getting beat up by Dusty and Dustin, and DiBiase is verbally, assaulting Virgil, calling him no good. DiBiase gets the win for his team, rolling up Dusty Rhodes, but sort of kills off that feud. But then we get the build up to what would be SummerSlam 1991, DiBiase versus Virgil. Virgil actually stepping up to Ted DiBiase. Virgil knocks DiBiase out with the belt, throws the belt down, and throws the money down. It's basically saying that he doesn't need DiBiase's money, and Virgil's going out on his own as a wrestler. Very, very good feud. Very, very well built up. Nobody cared about Virgil for years, but everybody feared him on the outside during the matches. Then we go from there, of course, because you had Slaughter versus Ultimate Warrior as the championship match. Here comes the Royal Rumble, which never really understands what you win. You don't win money. You don't win a title shot. You don't win anything that you win today. So it's just a match. I guess you're just going out there for pride. And so there is really no build-up to this one. And guys come out. Dino Bravo and Bret Hart start this out number 1 and number 2. They're followed up by Greg the Hammer Valentine, Paul Roma, Texas Tornado, Rick Martel, Saba Simba. Guys are just pouring out. You have one of the... He debuted in Survivor Series, so this would be the rookie debut of the Undertaker in the Royal Rumble, who comes in. He makes a few eliminations. People are really scared of him. Much like when Andre the Giant was eliminated in one of the first Royal Rumbles by the tag team of Demolition teaming up on him. Undertaker is dumped out by the Legion of Doom, who come in and they team up and they eliminate the Undertaker. And you got Snuka, Davey Boy Smith, you got Demolition in there, Earthquake. Nothing really big. Finally, Hulk Hogan comes out there at number 24. His biggest foes that are in there are Earthquake and of course Mr. Perfect, building off the feud from last year. He starts knocking people out. You see the start of a build-up of a feud between Tugboat and Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was always that babyface that, always sort of broke the rules, and everybody sort of cheered him anyways. Hulk Hogan eliminates his best friend, Tugboat, very fast in this match. Basically, he just runs over and dumps him out. Of course, Tugboat would then, a few months later, turn on Hulk Hogan on an episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, which would later build to Tugboat turning on the Bushwhackers, which finally turned him heel, joining up with the National Disasters. But, of course, if you go back in time to SummerSlam 1990, the build-up of the big Earthquake versus Hulk Hogan match, Tugboat was supposed to be in his corner. He ended up being attacked by Dino Bravo and Earthquake, so the big boss man made the face turn, and he stepped up to the plate to be in Hulk Hogan's corner. Almost made it feel like it was going to be a tag match at the time. And I thought maybe I had forgotten history, and maybe that it was a tag match when I watched that during the summer this year. But you have Hulk Hogan eliminating Earthquake to win the Royal Rumble, killing off their feud, basically sending Hulk Hogan to be the #1 contender to go into WrestleMania and face Sergeant Slaughter at WrestleMania. Of course, this was the WrestleMania that Vince thought he was going to sell 100,000 tickets to, and it would better be about a month after this is when Vince pulled the plug on doing WrestleMania at the Coliseum, putting it in the Los Angeles Sports Arena, I believe is where it was, and being one of the smallest WrestleMania gates of all time. But that's a great WrestleMania. I've already got it in my mind. Make sure you review WrestleMania 7 and WrestleMania 8 this year when you're doing WrestleManias, because talk about the ones that you love and not the ones that you sort of have bad memories about. But we'll see how that goes down the road. I got to review Rumble 92. I watched that one, of course, with the Ric Flair show, and then I got to go back and rewatch Rumble 93 and finish that one out. So we'll get those done and get us set up for Royal Rumble in no time. Peace out, everybody.